Hello there, my brothers and my sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes. As I often say, what a mighty God we serve. Angels bow before him in heaven and earth. They just adore him. Man, only got a few more days left. And then this election cycle will be over. And you get to decide on who's going to be your president. Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. The choice is in your hands, America. And we have to decide which one we want. And as Christians, so I'm especially talking to you as Christians, we need to think about this long and hard. We can't get caught up in the personalities. We got to look at the policy over the person. We have to look at the record over the rhetoric. Both of these candidates have been in office. We can look at 2016 to 2020 and judge Donald Trump on that. We can look at 2020 to 2024 and judge Kamala Harris on that. We have their records to look at. So that's why we ought to be looking at policy over person, record over rhetoric. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have to consider those things, but truth be told, you and I both know more than likely we're not going to sit down with either one of these people. I mean, neither one of these people are going to pay our bills. You know that now, but the policies that they put in place will affect every American. And that's how we got to look at that. As Christians, who closely aligns with my biblical values? We got to start thinking about these things. Because as Christians, we need to vote our convictions. And we can't worry about, well, dag, if I vote for him, then I'm going to be canceled. My family, my friends, my coworkers, or whoever is not going to like me. Guess what? That's their problem. Well, if I vote for her, then people are going to be like, why are you with her? Why this? Why that? They're not going to like me. Whatever the case may be. You got to get past that. It's what you want. You got to make this decision. You're grown. You decide. And if people don't like the fact that you voted for Kamala Harris, that's their problem. If they don't like the fact that you voted for Donald Trump, that's their problem. You better look at their policies. I'm going to show you some of them. And you got to make a decision on which way you want to go. One is for what they call reproductive freedom. Now think about this. There's no reproduction in unaliving a child. Think about that for a minute. The other candidate has a whole different ball game, has a whole different policy in mind. You got to decide. Choice is yours, people. All I heard is Donald Trump's records on abortion policy couldn't be more different at all. It's like night and day. One of them wants abortion up to the ninth month, and the other says that the federal government shouldn't be involved and left it up to the states. Kamala Harris was the first vice president to visit an abortion clinic. She wants to kill babies. The other candidate wants to save babies. What about school choice? One of them on their platform says that they are against school choice. Watch. Look, you see it? Look at it. We oppose The use of private school vouchers, tuition tax credits, opportunity scholarships, and other schemes that divert taxpayer funded resources away from public education. That's crazy. That's amazing. They don't want to give you the opportunity to take your child out of a failing school and put them into a private school, put them into a charter school, or put them into or homeschool. It's right there in their policy. Look at what they're saying. They're telling you what they want to do.
The United States spends more money on education than any other country in the world, and yet we get the worst outcomes. We're at the bottom of every list. In total, American society pours more than $1 trillion a year into public education systems. But instead of being at the top of the list, we are literally right smack, guess what? At the bottom. Rather than indoctrinating young people with inappropriate racial, sexual, and political material, which is what we're doing now, our schools must be totally refocused to prepare our children to succeed in the world of work and in life and the world of keeping our country strong so they can grow up to be happy, prosperous, and independent citizens. We owe our children great schools that lead to great jobs and leads to an even greater country that we're living in right now. Right now, we're living in a failing nation because of Joe Biden and these people running it. They're Marxists, they're communists. What they're doing to our country is incredible, but we'll take care of that for our children. Here are 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school board to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed. Reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth, we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. Fifth, we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. Let them go out and be more successful. I will be the happiest person in the world. But we want our children to have a great life and be successful. And 10th, we will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs and careers best suited to their God-given talents. This is how we will ensure a great education for every American child.
You get to choose, people, which way you want to go. Choice is yours. One is offering school choice, and they just laid out what they laid out their plan. The other one, on their platform, said, nah, that's not what they offer. Where do these candidates stand on this gender ideology? Let's hear from them.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parent's consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
Image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. God created them, male and female. You have a choice, people, as to which way you're going to go, as to who you're going to choose. One candidate, not only does he say he want to not have your children be transitioned, but he wants to keep men out of women's sports. What does the other one say? So where does Kamala stand on this? Let's see.
Community.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
Choice, people. We have a serious choice, people. One candidate wants to transition your children, abort your babies. The other want to protect your children and keep transgenderism out of school. Man, oh man. The other wants to make sure that you get to choose. You get to decide what school your child goes to. You could send them to a school where one wants to keep them and allow drag queens to come in there and have drag queen story hour. The other says no. You don't want that to happen for your child. Take them out. You decide where your child goes. This is sick, people. This is sick. The fact that we've even come here where we want to decide of whether to send our kids to a failing school where they're being indoctrinated, where God has been kicked out. No, your God is not welcome here, but drag queens are. No, you as parents, when you leave and shut that door, we're going to transition your child. Tell him he is not a he, he's a she. That what you want? You want that as a Christian? Y'all sick. Sick. Evil. If you vote for this, you evil. You're a Christian. Yeah, many of you Christians in name only. Better wake up. God is watching you. He's watching you. Pay attention. You decide which way you want to go. Right? Left. You need to stand on truth. Don't look at the person. Look at the palace. Don't just listen to the rhetoric. Look at the record. You make a decision. Y'all decide. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to hear from you on this. Like this video. Share this video. Hey, help a brother out. Subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.